If you've ever Googled love spells that work instantly, first of all, I see you. Second of all, we need to talk. Because most of what the internet calls a love spell is not about love, it's about control. And if you've been here for more than 5 minutes, you already know how we feel about that. With Valentine's Day creeping up and heart-shaped capitalism in full swing, today we're talking about love spells, what they are, where they come from, and why they've existed for thousands of years. And how to practice love magic without turning someone into a metaphysical hostage. Yes, we're going there. And yes, we're doing a spell together, but probably not the one that you think. This time of year can feel like an emotional ambush. Couples everywhere, engagement announcements, chocolates of mediocre quality in a cutesy box, roses everywhere. It's capitalism at its finest, but make it heart-shaped. And if you're single, it can feel like Cupid is personally bullying you. But here's the truth. Love magic didn't start with Instagram loneliness. For as long as humans have existed, we've wanted connection. Romantic love, friendship, devotion, passion, reconciliation. Even those of us who claim we are strong, independent, and don't need anyone, self included, hi, it's me. I've said that before. And if I'm being honest, for me, that narrative comes from trauma, from protecting myself, from convincing myself I didn't need something that felt unpredictable. The reality? Every human craves love in some form. Parent to child, friend to friend, partner to partner, community to community. Special shout out to my Aero Ace friends. Love exists in so many forms, and love magic is not exclusively romantic. But the moment you start trying to control who gives it to you, that's where things get messy. Love spells are ancient. We see them in Mesopotamia, in Egyptian amulets and incantations, in Greek magical papyri. And let me tell you, some of those were not gentle. The Greeks and Romans had what were called binding spells, literally asking deities to torment someone until they returned their feelings, which is less romantic comedy and more spiritual restraining order. We also see love workings in Jewish mystical traditions, in medieval grimoires, and even in cultures where official religious doctrine, looking at you, Christianity, condemned magic. Love magic shows up everywhere because love and heartbreak are universal. And historically, love spells fell into a few categories. Attraction spells, reconciliation spells, lust-enhancing spells, divination like, is he thinking about me? And yes, separation spells. Humans have always tried to influence love. The question is whether they should. Here's where I get twitchy. Many traditional love spells were not about mutual affection. They were about domination. They were written to override someone's will. And I'm going to say something that might make some corners of the internet feel uncomfortable. If your spell requires someone to act against their genuine desire, it's not a love spell. It's coercion. Consent does not stop being important just because you light a candle. No one wants to be in a one-sided relationship. That isn't a relationship. That's a hostage situation with rose petals. And yes, I know the stereotype. The desperate woman, the jilted lover, the if I can't have you, no one will energy. Those narratives are harmful, they're sexist, and they reduce complex emotional experiences into cartoon villains. But they exist for a reason, because coercive love magic has existed and continues to exist. And that's not something I'm willing to participate in. Look, I've been in a healthy relationship for 16 years. And let me tell you, there is no spell for emotional maturity. There is no herb for accountability. There is no crystal that fixes communication if you refuse to do the work. Trust me, I checked. I've also made terrible choices in partners in the past. The kind that teach you lessons you did not request. You know, like with their fists. And here's what I have learned. I don't want someone to love me because I influenced them energetically. I want them to love me because they choose me daily, freely, enthusiastically. So instead of doing spells to get them back or make them notice me, I focus on something else. Alignment. Becoming the version of myself that is ready for healthy love. Because sometimes the problem isn't that you haven't cast the right spell, it's that you haven't healed the pattern. And that part, that's closer to therapy than witchcraft. If you have a therapist you trust, call them before you petition Aphrodite. And I mean that with love. Now, that doesn't mean that love magic is off the table. It just means that we practice it ethically. If you're working with love energy, think in layers, colors, red for passion and courage, pink for tenderness and emotional connection, white for peace and clarity, gold for confidence and self-worth, crystals, rose quartz for balance, comfort, and healing emotional pain, garnet for strengthening the heart and igniting the flames of passion, green aventuring for opening the heart chakra, red jasper for eliminating stress in a relationship, lepidolite for calming emotional chaos and attracting a romantic relationship that is worthy of you. Herbs, rose, hibiscus, vanilla, cardamom, think warmth, sweetness, invitation, chamomile for peace, ginger for spark, rosemary for devotion. And yes, food magic is real. When I joke that I'm stirring the love into what I'm cooking, I'm only half kidding. Intention is energy. Energy follows intention. If you're cooking with love-associated ingredients and intentionally infusing gratitude, care, and warmth, that matters. So instead of doing a spell to control someone else, we're going to do one to prepare you. This is a self-alignment love spell. You will need a pink or white candle, a small bowl of honey or sugar, rose petals are optional, and a small piece of paper. On the paper, write, I am ready for love that is mutual, respectful, and joyful. Not desperate, not chaotic, not fix him energy. Mutual, respectful, joyful. Fold the paper toward you because we are drawing something to us. Lightly anoint your candle with an oil aligned with love if you have one. Roll it gently in sugar or honey, inviting sweetness into your life. As you light the candle, say, I release control. I welcome alignment. May love meet me as I meet it. Then sit with it for a moment. Not thinking about a specific person, thinking about how you want love to feel. Safe, exciting, reciprocal. That, my friends, is magic. If you love working with correspondences like this, you'll probably love what we are doing with the upcoming Beltane candle. It is built entirely around heart-opening oils and aligned intention. And yes, everything in the Fearless collection leans into love energy in ways that are very on brand for us. Abolish ice. As Bad Bunny said, the only thing more powerful than hate is love. Big dad energy. Think of this one like a big supportive hug from your favorite dad type figure. Childless cat lady. The way we love our cats cannot be trifled with. Grief pants. Despite the grift and theatrical marriage behind it, love overrules hate. JD Vance's couch. Maybe we should have made this one with not quite so many love-associated essential oils. Just so weird. Think of this like a love note to Minnesota. You can check those out on my website. I'll link everything below. Love isn't passive. It isn't manipulation. It is not desperation wrapped in rose petals. Love is chosen. It is built. It is maintained. It is protected. And if your magic reflects your ethics, it will never require someone else's autonomy as collateral damage. So this Valentine's season, instead of asking, how do I make them love me? Maybe ask, How do I become ready for the love that I deserve? That, my friends, is the real spell. If this was helpful, like, subscribe, share it with someone who needs a reminder that consent applies in every realm, including the magical one. As always, every accusation is a confession. Free Palestine. Protect the First Amendment. Justice for Casey Goodson Jr. We have a new trial date, by the way. And do not let up on the Epstein files. Accountability matters, and survivors deserve justice. I'll see you next week.